2 years ago, we did Chicago.
Yeah.
And had such a good time. And then...
That's a huge club. So
yeah,
it's
a
so
huge
many people.
club.
It's a big party.
And then Steffi, she goes, look, we got to have you back. It's one of our favorite New Year's.
Yeah.
Let's do it again. So we were booked for New Year's in Chicago. And then I'd talk to Steffi, and Steffi would go, okay, we're back open. And then a week would go by, and she's like, oh, they've just shut us down. And then, so...
The county. It was the county regulations.
2 weeks before it's about to shut down, I call Stephanie. I'm like, look, I got to figure out what I'm going to do for New Year's. Am I buying a plane ticket? Am I not buying a plane ticket? Am I performing? She goes, we're closed.
Yeah.
It's not happening. So I call my managers up, and because they manage Pitbull, they know all these DJs and clubs that have DJs. They were like, oh, we've got these guys. They're opening a Mexican restaurant called El Chingon in Fort Worth, Texas, of all places, near the stockyards. They have a back room. They want to do New Year's with you, stand up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that sounds great. Mexican restaurant, right? Like,
yeah.
Awesome. El Chingon, what a cool name. And then I look it up, and it's like all these chicks in thongs. All the waitresses are in thongs, right?
You didn't tell me that when you booked the gig.
Oh, yeah. But, dude, I get there, and I'm like, all right, my show's at the New Year's Eve. I'm like, my show's at 8. I'll get there. Me and Timmy will get there. Because we went without you, which was a bummer because of...
Oh, I'm sure it was a real bummer, all those girls in thongs. I bet you were very sad I was not there.
It was a bummer. I'd rather have you. I'd rather have you there.
Yes, it was a little sad to be a part of New Year's.
But so me and Timmy are like, because we have no idea what's going on, right? So me and Timmy are like, all right, we'll get there an hour early. We'll eat. We'll hang out, get a feel for the place. Did we get there? First of all, there's a line around the building. They have a DJ booth at 7 o'clock. They have a DJ booth, and they're like, oh, yeah, every table is bottle service. Mm-hmm. They're all sold out, but we saved you a table for the owners and you by the DJ booth. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? There's a line of 20-somethings around the building at 7 o'clock, right? So we end up doing my show. Uh-huh. And it's like this black box in the back, really cool place with these awesome booths, right?
Yeah.
So my show's done at midnight. We bring in the new year. I walk out there, full on Vegas nightclub, girls in thongs with the signs.
Okay, we get it. There were girls in thongs.
Yes.
Enough.
Girls in thongs, nice shitters, a lot of nice shitters, and you can't help but notice. But I mean, I'm talking about the sparkle, the fireworks coming out of the bottles.
Yeah.
Like Vegas.
Yeah.
The DJ's doing his thing, right? And then they're all in their 20s, and they're like, oh yeah, comedian Steve Trevino in the house, and everybody's like, who gives a shit? Some of them were like, why? Isn't he married? Doesn't that guy have a family? What the fuck is he doing here? Right? But it was, and then the whole weekend was like that. So, and then of course my crowd is all our age.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they'd have
a very different demographic.
Yeah, so they would have to walk through that to get to the show. But definitely like I don't feel old. I don't. I feel young, I'm strong, I feel energetic. Like I don't feel old. And I don't drink like I'm old. I can throw it down, right? I can party. Which I think our generation parties way harder than the younger generation. They are all taking Ubers and responsible. Like we were drinking and not one fight. I was like, come on, pussies, let's go, right? But there was definitely, I'm standing at this booth watching the whole room, and there was definitely the daddy in me, the dad, right? And I would just be like...
Especially now that you have a daughter?
Yeah, especially, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at these girls and I'm like, oh, sweetheart, like, you must not have a daddy. Like, oh my God, he's gonna treat you like shit, honey. Like, don't fuck him. You know what I mean? Like,
you wanted to go and parent?
Yeah, do your parents know that you're here?